If a company announces a 50-for-1 stock split like Chipotle is going to do tomorrow, should you buy it before the split or after? My name is Kenneth and I teach my 440,000 social media followers how to trade, invest, and simplify their lives. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, smash that follow. And remember, nothing is changing fundamentally with the company or your profit. The only thing that's changing is that the price of the stock looks cheaper and you end up with more shares. A great way to think about stock splits is if I have a $100 bill and you have $101 bills and we swap. Right now I have $101 bills, but it equals the same amount, I just have more bills. The question is always, do you buy it before the split or after? And the reality is when a company announces a stock split, usually what happens is the stock price dramatically increases. We saw this with Chipotle, we saw this with Nvidia. I'm gonna show you what I mean. Take a look. This is the stock chart for Chipotle over the last 180 days. Now, they announced their split somewhere right around here when they also announced their earnings, and the stock was around $2,800 or $2,900 per share. And you can see after they announced the split, boom, the stock skyrockets in anticipation of the split. Think about it kind of like this. I know it's backwards, but I'm gonna read everything to you so it'll be okay. When they announced the split, they were $2,800 per share. But they're doing a 50-for-1 split. So you divide 2,800 by 50 and you get $56, which would be the split adjusted price if the split happened on the day they announced it. However, the stock ended up hitting a high of 3,400. Now, right now it's around 3,200, so it did pull back a little bit. But you divide it again by 50 and the new split adjusted price would be $68. So the day they announced the split really is a great time to buy it because it goes up in between. But they announced the split 1 month ago, which means that your next option will be now, if you didn't buy it before, would be to buy it after the split. Historically, in the 1 to 3 days after the stock split happens, the stocks have historically pulled back a little bit. However, this doesn't happen every single time like we saw with Nvidia. It split at 125, shot all the way up to 140, and now it's pulled back considerably. So there's really no way to time these things. And if you're particularly bullish about a company, frankly, it doesn't really matter when you get in because you're bullish and you think the stock will be going up in the long term. And furthermore, historically, and again, it doesn't happen every time, but historically, stocks that have had a split outperform the markets in the first year to 2 years after the split. Now, I know this doesn't happen every single time, but it does sometimes. Personally, with Nvidia, after the split happened, I said, okay, it's 125. If it gets into the low 100s after the split, I'll definitely buy a little more. And if it goes higher, I already have now several hundred shares, so I'm not going to bother buying more. What happened? It went to 140 and then it dumped. And a couple days ago, it was 125. I said, hey, great opportunity. I bought a little bit more. The very next day, which happens to have been yesterday, it dropped all the way to 115. And on the way down, I bought even more at 116. Now it's 124. Now, of course, in a week, it could be 110, it could be 150. I don't care week to week, month to month, or even year to year because I'm investing in these companies for the next decade or 2 or even 3. And I know a lot of people hate these stock splits and they say, well, it just dilutes the amount of shares and it puts more shares on the market, which can make it harder to move the company. But I still am bullish on Chipotle, even with their latest problems of the portion sizings. This is a minor issue long term. This is something they'll resolve and we'll all forget about in a year from now. Now we have to wait and see. I don't know if I'm going to buy Chipotle tomorrow, if I'm going to buy it in the next 2 to 3 days after. I'm in wait and see mode, but what I want to know is what's your plan? So let me know in the comments below. Are you going to buy Chipotle after the split? Are you going to buy it the day of the split, a couple days after? Have you already purchased it in anticipation of the split? Let me know. I'm curious. Thanks for watching. Make sure you smash that follow. See you later.